Hello, everybody, and welcome to the
Oh my god.
What's going on?
Oh
Why?
my-
Why? What was that for?
Just
Doing a mic
God.
check.
Oh, mic check. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome
Make
to
sure
the
my-
MindMesh podcast. My name's Chayton.
And I'm Fish.
And we're joined by our special guest, Kenny, our
Yeah.
very first. I'm not going to let you speak. I don't know why you're even trying. Our first ever recurring guest. It's not really recurring. This is only your second time, probably the last time, because
You think this is my
Did
last
you
time
enjoy
on
your
the
first
show?
time being
Yeah,
on the
did
show?
you like
My
your-
first time on the
really?
show.
That's amazing.
You know what?
we talked about some great things.
I had a time, all right. I had a time enough to want to come back.
I think actually we just forced him to be in here. I don't.
We're force feeding.
Literally,
him.
he just showed up to hang out with us today, and we're like, "Hey, you want to be in a recording session?" He was like,
figured
"Yeah,
why
sure,
not,
whatever,
yeah.
fuck it, let's go." So yeah, but welcome to the MindMesh podcast. This is the podcast all about those internet rabbit holes, those shower thoughts, those weird, wacky ideas that you get that make no sense once you think about them later. And today, man, oh man, do we have some topics for you.
We have our first.
Well, not technically our first, because from friends and family, we've gotten like requests to do certain topics.
yeah,
But this is our first ever,
stranger.
stranger. A commenter asked us to talk about this specific topic. And so thank you, Dakota, for suggesting creepy pasta.
Ooh.
Now, I do. Wait, actually, the last time you were on the podcast, we talked a little bit about creepypastas in a sense, because
Didn't
we were
we?
talking about aliens, cryptids, and I brought
Oh,
up
yeah.
SCPs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because that was the same episode we talked about the divorce.
Holy shit!
We
yeah.
could do a whole episode on SCPs just entirely.
Well, yeah, but I would like to talk about just creepypastas in general, like because I mean, they're really just internet, they're almost like folklore. They're almost like those creepypastas themselves are just that. They're creepy stories that were told to people, and it just kind of spread like a virus.
I mean, that's like copy pasta.
Yeah.
Those copy posts that you would see where people would like shit post, and it was just like some meme.
Yeah.
Essentially that.
My
but
favorite of which being the I was a Navy SEAL and I
I
said
knew you were fucking gonna say that. Yes.
the Navy SEAL copy pasta is amazing.
I have no clue what that is. I will say the only creepypastas that I know of are SCPs.
I'll have you
Oh,
fucking
I know
know
a
I was
lot.
fucking head of my.
I'll have you know, I have over 300 confirmed kills in Iraq and Afghanistan alone. No, that's more like copy pasta. I guess
But-
you're asking more so along the lines of like creepy, scary stories.
I was just
when you
getting-
say copy pasta, you're talking about like stuff on like Twitch chat where it's literally like people copy and paste the same thing over and
That's-
over.
Essentially, yeah.
That's where it came from. It was people were doing
okay.
like.
No, I'm talking about the weird. Like,
I know that's where it came, that's where creepypasta came
Oh,
from. is,
really?
like, people
Yeah,
were people
because
would start
originally you would just do
posting,
shit posts, right?
and
It was
then
just-
and people
Oh.
would start doing like these almost kind of like. I guess they were almost like chain letter esque.
yeah, no, it was definitely like chain letter stuff.
Like,
if I
kinda-
remember correctly, Smile Dog was a chain letter.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
this chain
you guys
letter
are blowing
shit.
my mind right now. I have absolutely
That would
no.
be that
the
way you'd
words,
co-
the
Sorry.
words that are coming out of your mouth is straight pig Latin in my ears.
Okay. I'm not going to
Kenny-
talk in my mouthful, so why don't you continue talking?
Okay, so I mean, I'll just be upfront and personal before they give us a brief history lesson on what creepypasta is and where it originated. My whole history with creepypasta, I guess, technically started with. I mean, I have creepypastas pulled up on the good old the mainframe right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I knew about Slender Man. I knew about Jeff the Killer. There's some of the Ted the Caver. Never heard of Ted the Caver.
Haven't heard of him.
Haven't heard of him.
But like Slenderman and Jeff the Killer were definitely the two that I started out knowing about.
You
Yeah.
know the rake.
Oh,
The what?
rake.
The
The rake is fucking weird.
What the
Yeah.
hell are you guys? No, I don't. I knew Slenderman. I knew Jeff the Killer. I knew SCPs.
Squidward suicide. Oh, that was a good one.
Oh wait, I've seen that image online.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, like
no,
the-
okay.
The Mickey Scream one.
Oh, the Mickey scream. The one that was like when they had abandoned Mickey at that old abandoned Mickey, I think was one. Where
Is that
they-
what it's called? Where it's just
I
that
think
one
so.
animation and it's like someone screaming through it,
Yeah, a lot of creepypasta is
like cartoons.
Bad memes?
yeah. like
The
It's
Ed
like
and Eddie
cartoons.
one, the
oh
Purgatory
my god,
one.
dude, there were so many cartoon centric creepypastas, and that's probably because most people writing them were like 12 and 13, so all they did was kind of like consume cartoons.
My favorite were
Well-
like the lost cartridges.
Those
Oh,
were so
I know
cool.
about the lost cartridges.
Ben Drowns.
Ben Drowns.
Ben Drowns. Do you know about Ben Drowns?
No.
You would love Ben Drowns.
Oh,
Ben Drowns
really?
is a Legend of Zelda creepypasta.
It's just like this.
I thought you were about to say it's a Ben 10
This kid-
creepypasta. And
this
I was about to be
kid
like, I'm all
gets-
for it.
This kid gets a haunted Majora's Mask game cart that when he puts it into his N64,
There's already one save.
there's
that
already a
says
save.
Ben.
It says Ben. And
Oh.
You
and
can't
it starts-
delete it.
Okay.
Right, he
And
can't delete it. He has to play it.
I
And
didn't.
it keeps corrupting instead of facing oh my god, instead of facing the mask kid, Ben, who's in the final boss room, and Ben is just a weird rendering of Link with like a really creepy and like surreal
hyper
face.
realistic.
Yeah,
Okay.
hyper realistic.
Not gonna lie, I did not know those were creepypastas, but I
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
those video game horror stories like a ton.
Oh yeah, like the mystery Pokemon ghost.
Yeah.
the
Lavender
go-
Town?
No,
Yeah.
the ghost cartridge.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Where you
No, I watched a bunch of video game based ones. I did not realize those were categorized as creepypastas.
Yeah, most certainly.
Huh. The more you know. The more
so
you know.
you did listen to a bit more creepy pasta than you thought.
Yeah, no, I just the rake and all the ones that I guess weren't based off video games and weren't like Slenderman and Jeff the Killer. Like didn't wait, actually did Slenderman start on the internet or was it
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
was it the internet or was it
so
rumor stuff?
Slenderman-
Because I know there was that whole like girl
Here's what
situation with
happened. It
stabbings
started-
and all that
It
nonsense.
started on the internet.
Okay, and then it just
So it what it was is on the Something Awful forums, there was a contest to create like a scary image, but it wasn't supposed to be like scary. Like you weren't supposed to like look at it and be scared. You would
it
have
was
to
like
search for it.
It was one of those once you notice it, it'll freak
Right.
you out.
So there's a picture posted of a bunch of girls on a playground, and faintly off in the distance, you can make out like a real Slender Man with no face. He's got a suit on, right? So that's kind of what started, and from there, people started writing stories about this guy on Something
Adding
Awful
lore
forums.
to it.
Right, adding lore to it. And then they eventually ended up on the creepypasta website once Something Awful kind of. It didn't. It's
then the
dead
Marble-
now, but
The Marble Hornet series too.
Marble Hornets was another great way of introducing Slenderman.
It was
Well,
just
then-
these people. You know what Marble Hornets is, right?
No.
It was like this web series on YouTube of these people like trying to make like was it a film? They were trying to make a film, but then like this like Slender Man kept like,
Slenderman was trying to get in the way of them making their movie.
Oh, see,
Essentially.
the only
Or,
thing I
like,
know
It was,
started
it was
haunting
found. It was
them.
found footage.
Yeah,
It
the
was
only thing
essentially
I
found footage.
remember
or like
about
BTS of the film,
Yeah.
and then ended up being that.
the only thing I remember about Slenderman itself was just the images online, and then that whole news story about the girls convincing another girl that it was real, and then they had to like sacrifice or some
Well,
nonsense.
I watched a documentary on that. Right?
The
Yeah.
HBO one.
Yeah, that HBO one was really good.
Mhm.
But what happened was these two girls were just like convinced that this fucker that Slenderman was real, and that they had to sacrifice another girl to like meet him in the woods and be his There's this idea in the second Slenderman game
Yeah.
of like a proxy where like Slenderman will take over your mind and you'll like work for him, and it's crazy. So these girls thought that in order to be proxies for Slenderman, they had to kill someone and like sacrifice them to Slenderman. And so they invited this girl over who's really shy. She never had really any friends.
Took
Invite
her out
her
to
over.
the woods.
Yeah, they invite her over for a sleepover. They're like, we're gonna go play hide and seek in the woods, and they stab her like 30 times, and she lived.
Oh.
Yeah, she lived. She didn't die. She lived. That's how they found out about it, because the girl lives and she crawls back out onto the side of the road, and some people find her.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, hot
Jesus
diggity
Christ. That's some real
That's
creepy
dark.
pasta.
That's some that is some real creepy pasta.
There was this one that I loved. It was called Pen Pal. I don't know if
Actually,
you ever
I
heard
think
of it.
I think I've heard
Never
that
heard of
title
it.
before, and I remember it being attached to a creepy story.
Yeah, it's this really good story about like this kid. Well, it's not even a kid. It's this man retelling all of his like childhood events, and there's this person kind of stalking him all throughout of his life, and he's kind of like coming to terms with it,
Mhm.
and like realizing like the weird noises in his room wasn't like things in his shit like that. And it's really good, at least from what I remember in high school.
I I mean, besides Slenderman and Jeff the Kill, really my main creepypasta thing, which I mean, I've talked about this on literally the last time Kenny was on here in the podcast, was
Yeah.
just SCPs.
I love SCP, dude.
That's one I didn't get into. Y'all inform me.
Oh, well,
Again.
okay. The very first SCP game, because I mean, the way I got introduced with it is through the Unity like based Java games or whatever.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
pretty sure they were Unity.
Mhm.
But they were released for free online, and of course I found them, and then of course I watched Let's Plays on them online. But the first one I ever found was, I forget the exact number, but it was SCP something something something, and it was just an everlasting staircase.
Oh God, I don't know what number that is. I actually more recently.
Don't drop your pizza.
I'm not. I'm putting it over here. I actually more recently found myself getting into SCPs
Oh really?
because it's kind of a cool concept because
I mean, for
because
me, it
it's-
was back when sorry, I was trying to finish my story.
God,
But-
Jesus fucking Christ.
I know I'm such an awful guest. I should just I'll see you guys later.
But it was I forget what age I was. It was definitely middle school, because it was back when I had first started doing YouTube videos, and it was when I first figured out how I could record my video game footage on my Dell Inspiron laptop that couldn't even run Amnesia: The Dark Descent at 15 frames a second.
The good old days.
Yeah, or actually, I take that back. I couldn't even run Minecraft without having the render distance cranked all the way down, so it was just straight fog in front of your face.
Hilarious.
So like, and
Great,
even,
dude. That's some great content.
even
Quite frankly.
well, yeah, even then it wouldn't even run at 30. But I found a way to record stuff. I think it was like Bandicam or CamState, one of those super weird cheapo, like, oh, I might be downloading a virus type recording
It's just
software.
gonna have like the fucking watermark
I
in
used to
the
use,
bottom.
Yeah.
I used to use Windows Media Encoder
Hell
to record
yeah.
my screen.
Hell
at like
yeah.
a solid like 3 frames per second.
But
skip.
But back then I was super into horror games. Of course, I played Amnesia and all that stuff. That actually, I think I still have, like, somewhere deep in the archives of YouTube, there's still my recordings of these, because we live streamed them and then ported them over to YouTube. But the first one I ever found was SCP, and it was just, literally, it was just this endless staircase, and you could go up or down. It did not matter. It was always going to be endless. But then the more floors you went down, the creepier it got, even though nothing changed. And I don't know how to explain it, but it was a combination of, like, randomly the stairs would change, like it would either get darker or you would hear noises, but overall, like, you would keep going, but then randomly. And I mean randomly. Like, you could play this game. I think my Let's Play lasted an hour and a half
Yeah.
of me just going down these stairs until a random jump scare happens. But it can literally happen 3 minutes into playing, 30 minutes into playing, 5 hours into playing. Like, it was completely random.
Mhm.
So you just never knew when your game would end. And then it would just restart you back at the beginning. But that was the first SCP game I ever played. And it's just because I found it online and it was like a free download. So I was like, sure, another horror game that's like scary like Amnesia. Let's fucking go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had played all the frictional game stuff out of the time, which of course was like the Pneumonia trilogy, and or as all the YouTubers called it, Penumbra, because no one knew how to fucking say pneumonia. Or is it pneumonia?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Anyways, so like played the Penumbra trilogy, played Amnesia, and then I found this game. I was like, well, what the fuck's an SCP? So I looked it up on YouTube, and of course it's all like the big guys. It's all fucking Markiplier, PewDiePie, and all them. They're all playing SCP-173.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
the big like complex game where you're basically like a security guard guarding all these SCPs that are in this underground facility, and it's a giant puzzle game, and there's like five different endings that you can get.
Yep.
And like you can also die from all the other SCPs in the facility, so there's also those endings as well if you accidentally die and all that. So that was creepypastas for me, because I found those two games and then I actually went on the SCP website. Which literally,
Yeah.
has-
I was literally about to bring up, like, the SCP community in and of itself, like,
Is
really
absolute-
blossoms from that website.
yeah, no, you can literally, anything is technically an SCP. A toaster could be an SCP.
That microphone you're
Yeah,
talking
this microphone
to,
could be an SCP.
now your voice is getting sucked inside of it and it's transmitting it throughout the world.
I'm pretty sure even
That's like a, that's
I
an
think-
SCP.
I think Bigfoot's actually an SCP. technically.
Bigfoot is an SCP.
Yeah. The SCPwiki.net. And the SCP-5000 contest? Oh god, they're making more? Yeah,
They
there's
have
literally SCP
yeah.
by series. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then there's SCP Tales, which are stories to add to the SCPs. Because
Jesus.
certain SCPs, like here, SCP-1000 all the way. Oh, well, look, it just goes, and you can literally click on any of these, and it gives you a full-blown fucking story with like redacted elements that you can't even.
It's great.
You can't even read, and it gives you like stories for every single one of them.
What's SCP-1984? You just clicked on it. Let's see what it is.
God,
Let's
now
look at the lore.
Yeah, let's look at the lore. SCP-1984 is to be secured. Blah blah. Itself is to be what the fuck? Oh, it's just a warehouse. SCP-1984
there's an SCP that's an empty IKEA, a never-ending empty IKEA.
Oh, what?
An IKEA.
No, I didn't hear. A never what?
A never-ending empty.
You go in,
IKEA.
you never can come out.
God damn.
And the mannequins come alive at night. You know, so you can just like chill during the day, like whatever. They're not going to try to hurt you, but at night the mannequins come out.
Oh, here's SCP-1633, the most dangerous video game.
Smash Brothers Ultimate.
It's to be stored on a standard DVD-ROM in a secured storage locker on Site 15. But
Site 15.
Oh, this one has a timetable to tell you what happens the more you stare at it. So, I mean, SCPs was my creepypastas, which, I would categorize them as creepypastas.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was one of those...
Absolutely.
Like, I never found them scary. I found the video game scary because they actually, like, put models and, like, actual imagery to it rather than just, like, fan-made photoshops and stuff like that, or story. But I never found them internally creepy. But I also never found Slenderman or Jeff the Killer creepy.
I'll tell you, in middle school, when I first found Jeff the Killer...
Oh, man.
Just that one, just the fucking photoshopped image. It's just like, I guess the proportions are so off. There's no nose. And just, I don't know why that creeped me the fuck out for like a solid good night. I remember being creeped out.
When I first heard of Slender Man, that sucked. Like that night fucking sucked. I was so fucking scared. Like I was like, what the fuck? I was young too. Like I should not have been like.
How old were you?
I don't even remember when
like 9 or 10.
Yeah, I don't even remember when Slender Man came out. I just remember there was a huge craze on YouTube for like creepypasta games and jump scare games in general. There was like a weird like 2-year period where everyone played that and then it just disappeared.
Well,
so the horror game craze.
Currently, the biggest SCP game is a online multiplayer SCP game.
Wait, they made an online. I know they're remaking SCP-173.
It's an online multiplayer game where you hop into a server and you'll take on the role of like one of the SCPs, or maybe
is it kind of like Dead by Daylight?
Prisoner. Kind of, in a way. They're if you want to say that it's like asymmetric multiplayer, no, because the teams
SCP Secret Laboratory.
Yeah.
Well, what do you know? I did not realize SCP Secret.
And it's free. It's on Steam. It's a really cool game, too.
Oh, based on the famous... Oh, wait, SCP-173, I'm pretty sure is the one that either breaks out or that was the actual name of the staircase game.
That's
that guy. Well,
yeah,
you
that's
can't
Peanut.
see him.
It's Peanut.
Yeah, good old Peanut. But SCP Containment Breach was the original, so this is like a multiplayer version of it, I can only assume.
So SCP-173 was the game you were talking about when you inhabited the body of a guard and you go around... I don't know the staircase game you're talking about. That sounds really cool though. But
I'll find it.
This game, it's essentially supposed to be like SCP-173 multiplayer, except everyone inhabits a different thing. So within SCP lore, there's the Nine-Tailed Fox, which are SCP guards that have defected from the Foundation, and they're here to free all the prisoners. There's D-class prisoners who are essentially just test subjects to test the SCPs on. You just like shove them into a room of an SCP and like, all right, let's see what happens, you know.
Haha, funny gag. Oh, here it is. It was SCP-087-B. And
that's crazy.
And it's literally called the Staircase to Hell. And that was the whole thing. I do. I'm actually going to look now and see if it's actually still on my on my nonsense stuff that or my old backlog.
We've spent a pretty long time on creepypasta today. I don't know if y'all had anything else to bring up.
I have something kind of in the ballpark of it. I don't know if
creepypasta.
Kinda, it's on the creepier side of things.
Yeah, I mean, if you think you got
we're talking about horror games and stuff. I remember searching for these for like some fun free horror games as you do as a fucking.
Oh, is this gonna be a creepypasta?
I guess
it's not a creepypasta.
I guess I deleted it because all I have is 9.5 minutes called part 1, and it looks like I have a webcam, but it does not look like you can. Yeah, you can't even see me in the webcam. It's just
your computer
black.
is recording at about 3 frames per second.
Yeah, dude, it's real good. I don't know, the video's not even playing. It's not it's a little better. Okay, it's like 15 frames, but it's just pitch black. It's literally just pitch fucking black.
Yeah, you're just pressing W.
Yeah, but what were you saying, Fish?
I was looking for horror games as a kid and like free ones, you know. I remember coming
like
across
the ones where like Sonic dies. Those.
I did
That's another one. That's another
Sonic.exe.
Yeah, Sonic.exe.
But I couldn't download it. But apparently at the time, this company was doing this promotional game where the game would actually like you'd put your phone number in, it'd call and text you.
Oh hell yeah!
I want something like that, and I wish someone would make that and be a thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
Yeah, they have. It's called Facebook.
Well, yeah. I was about to say like that kind of breaks privacy concerns and stuff
nowadays,
like that.
Because we never thought we'd end up in a world like this.
Yeah, because that was probably back when all the phones were still flips and sliders.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it wasn't iPhones where iMessage is all in the fucking cloud, and if they get your phone number, they can fucking hack your shit and steal all your photos. I mean, sorry,
I didn't know people could do that from a phone number these days.
Yeah.
How do you think the fucking fappening happened? Literally, they got their fucking account information.
They got their phone number. They got their
which led to their email.
And they hacked their email, and they kind of just guessed. They're like, oh, they might be using the same password for their email that they're using for their iCloud, and they sure as
sounds
shit
like
were.
a friend of ours.
Yeah, R.I.P. You want to know what else is crazy? This ad break.
Look, Fish, I need to know something. I need to know. Have you heard?
Yeah.
You have?
Are
you sure?
Possibly. You can tell me though.
Have you heard of Anchor?
Like the thing that's on like boats?
No. Anchor. It's the easiest way to make a podcast. I'll let you explain. You said you knew about it.
Oh yeah. I remember now.
Okay.
It's free.
It's free?
Yeah, there's
like absolutely free, no charge.
No charge.
Uh-huh.
There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer.
Wait, phone? You can just pull out your phone
and edit your podcast right from it. And
that's wild.
It.
That's absolutely wild. What else does it do?
Well, you can distribute your podcast, or Anchor will distribute your podcast for you.
Where?
So it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else. Many more.
Wait, so like Google Podcasts and all of those, you can hear it using Anchor? Oh my, really? What else do they do?
You can make money from your own podcast with no minimum listenership.
No minimum listenership? Are you kidding
man.
Me? You can just make money from making a podcast?
Yeah,
I didn't know you could do that.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
Wait, so you're telling me that if our listeners want to make a podcast, all they have to do is download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and get started and make their own podcast?
Yes, that's all they have to do is download
all they have to do?
The free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
That's absolutely wild. What a great steal.
What a great steal.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that ad read.
It was beautiful. It was great.
Yeah, I know we got on a bit of a roll there talking about creepypastas, but I have a question, and it's really been digging at me. I've been thinking about this for a while. I've been thinking about this for the past several episodes, actually.
Lay it on me.
I would just like to know, what is the weirdest place you have ever urinated and or defecated? It could be both. It could be a singular. I mean, it could be half and half. I mean, maybe you.
Why do you want to know that?
Why not?
All right, fair.
That's the answer you could ask to anyone asking something weird is why would you want to know? Why not?
Weirdest place I've ever pissed.
I mean, I have my answer. Fish.
You know what?
Yeah. Okay. What's up?
Your mom's mouth.
You've never.
Fucking got you, Jaden. Fucking got you.
Firstly, you've never met my mom.
No, I haven't.
And second off, do you have a serious answer?
No,
or should we just move on?
Y'all should move on.
Okay, Fish, you know the story I'm going to tell. I don't know the story you're going to tell. Who do you think needs to go first?
Rock, paper, scissors. You ready?
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right, you go first.
Damn. All right. So let me tell you the story of my 7th grade birthday party. Kenny's never heard this story, so he's going to have a hoot and a fucking holler. All right, so for my 7th grade birthday party, I decided I wanted to go camping. All right? So, of course, my mom and my dad didn't want to take us camping for all these like little 12-year-old, 13-year-old boys to just go out into the woods and just pitch a tent somewhere. So their ideology was, oh, we'll just let you guys camp in the backyard. You know, super simple, something you could trust a 7th grader to do.
Yeah.
So, of course, we had this big family tent that could fit like 6 people.
Right.
So I invited like 8 people over because I was like, we're all small. When they say 6 people, they mean 6 adults, not fucking 6 little 12-year-old kids.
You could fit 8 kids in that, yeah.
And then one of my friends brought their own like 1-person tent because they were a fucking freak, I guess.
He was a freak. He wanted to, I don't know, he wanted to
so like
be a freak.
The birthday party was going all swell. You know, we roasted the marshmallows. We cooked like burgers and hot dogs on the fire and all that stuff, you know, as you do for a camping party.
As you do.
Another note, one of them brought over Halo 2 or it was Halo Reach actually, and a CRT TV, and we ran an extension cord all the way from my house like 50 feet to 100 feet into the tent, and they played Halo all night. I had no interest in it, but that's a topic for another day. So nightfall comes, and of course we're all just chilling in this one tent. And one of my friends says, "Oh, I had to go piss." So we're like, "Okay, just go outside. The tree line's like not all that far away. Just go piss." So he leaves. And I mean there's a significant time between like when he leaves and when he comes back.
Right.
So like there's like a 30-second gap where it's just pure silence. We heard him walk off, and it's just pure silence. And all of a sudden, we hear just a little trickle on the side of the tent. So the next thing we know is my friend's opening the door of the tent, and he steps inside, and we're like, "Did you just piss on the side of the tent?" And he was like, "Yeah, it was too dark. I couldn't see in front of my own face. And I got scared." And so we're like, "So you peed on the tent?" And he was like, "Yeah." Lo and behold, not to my own free will or anything, this started a movement with my friends. So one by one, each individually
pissed on the tent.
Went outside.
No, you're fucking
and
joking.
Pissed on the tent.
You're fucking joking.
I wish I was. I really wish I was. But the story gets better.
Because of course it does.
So all my friends piss on my tent. Whatever. I don't really care. It's like it's a plastic tent. I could just get a hose, wash it off, and it'd be brand new. Whatever.
Right.
As you do, you piss on the tent, you wash it off. Easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy. So we all go to bed. And we wake up the next morning to a very odd musky smell.
Huh.
And we're all just chilling there. It's kind of cold, and we're like, what the fuck is that smell? The next thing we know, one of my friends reaches up, stretching, waking up, and hits the side of the tent, and we just get rained on.
Oh.
So the piss had over the night had almost like created like a mildew-esque situation on the inside of the tent somehow.
Oh,
don't know how it happened.
Oh man!
But we all got rained on, so instantly we all ran out. And almost as soon as we ran out, my mom was just up on the back deck, and she's like, "Oh, it's breakfast time." So we all went inside. We all ate breakfast.
Oh my!
And honestly, it just kind of slipped.
All smelled like fucking piss.
Yeah, no. But it's also like we were teenage boys, so we also just smelled straight like BO. So it's like, it was just a combination where it's like, oh, they just didn't put on deodorant.
And they're outside all night.
Yeah, so the whole like pissing on the tent thing kind of like slipped over my mind.
Ew.
So I was just hanging out with everybody, and of course, one by one, everybody left, and I was just chilling out, like playing with my birthday presents. And then I noticed that my dad wasn't around, so I was like, "Hey mom, where's dad at?" And she's like, "Oh, I think he's out back putting up the tent."
Uh-oh.
And I was just like, "Oh God." So I ran out onto the back porch, and I see my dad, and he's got the tent rolled up, and it's completely soaking wet. And I just see him like rolling with his fingers, like just dipping his fingers in. I was like, Dad, I was like, Dad, stop. And he's like, what? And like, I swear this is how I sounded. I was like, Dad, my friends may or may not have pissed on the tent. And I swear to God, his reaction was he stared at me up there. He looked down at his hands that were still on the tent. He looked back up at me, took his hands off, and then looked back at his hands.
How awful.
And just utter silence. And I went back inside because I was so upset with myself that my friends were such maniacal freaks. And then 30 minutes later, my dad comes inside and he's like, "Tell your friends thanks for ruining a perfectly good tent." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I threw it away."
Yeah.
I was just like, well, hot damn. So I never pissed on the tent. So
You didn't piss on the tent.
So I personally don't
Not
have
you.
my own.
He says that. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't, like, quite frankly, don't believe you.
He was the kid that initiated it.
No, I can tell you the exact name of my friend who
Dox
initiated
him
it.
right now. Right
You're gonna
fucking
fucking
now.
dox
Yeah, I'm
him?
gonna call him out. Hey, River, why the fuck you piss on my tent?
Bro, he ought to be doxxed if his name is River. Come on.
So yeah, I don't have my own personal. I mean, because I was like, I've pissed outside on a tree.
Of course.
Against,
We all have.
like against the house, yada yada
Yeah.
yada. Like, I mean, just simple places. Growing up in the South, it's just kind of natural. Like if you gotta go, you gotta go.
You go, yeah.
But I think pissing on a tent really took it to the next level.
Oh, but like, yeah, that's bad. Like that shit's bad.
It's really bad. And with that being said, Fish,
Yes.
tell us about. I mean, he was on a recent episode about 2-3 episodes ago.
Oh, you guys know who we're talking about if we're
Yeah,
gonna
we're
be talking
bringing him
about
back.
a crazy story.
Yeah, every time we ever bring up one of our friends, you know we're gonna talk about Eli.
And
Fucking Eli.
I don't really have a story about pissing in a crazy spot,
Yeah, no,
but I do
it's because
remember hanging around.
we are mature individuals. We
Yeah.
don't piss and we don't defecate in odd locations.
No,
But-
we don't.
We don't piss on tents. That's not us. That's
But
not
Eli-
who we are. Eli on the other hand.
Eli. I think Eli would piss on a tent.
Okay, so I think this was 3 years ago, maybe? No, 3-4 years ago now. We were at this convention. And this convention is literally right on a riverfront. The convention center is right on a riverfront.
Uh-huh.
Is it the one you guys always go to?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're here at it was Saturday night at the rave.
Mhm.
We had been drinking. And we're hanging out with a bunch of friends after the fact. What me and Eli decided to wear to the rave were 2 morph suits. I had a green one and he had a black one.
Yeah, I was about to say that was like
And-
general attire. Like is it after this year that everyone started bringing morph suits, and every time you guys went to the rave, you guys all just wore morph suits?
Yeah.
Trendsetters.
Yeah, true trendsetters. Eli and Fish are.
Anyway.
But we had been drinking. Eli was pretty drunk. And again, we're right here at the riverfront. The hotel is also right next to the convention center at the riverfront.
Mm-hmm.
And the group of people that we were with decided to walk to the edge. There's like a little gate right there at fence there at the riverfront.
Uh-huh. And just
And
let it go.
no, not to go piss, just to walk around.
Oh, okay.
And we were just walking around and I look over.
I really hope this ends in like Eli pissed himself, and you just see
No.
like the classic khaki shorts, like the like the splotch growing.
Eli had like taken his morph suit like halfway off, so he was like shirtless,
Uh-huh.
tied around his waist, and then just like skin tight legs. Hops over the
Awful.
fence. And it's like probably a good 20-foot drop to the river. That's why the fence is there. Like,
Bro, don't tell me what you're about to tell me.
and he gets to the very edge and he pisses off into the river.
Hell fucking yeah.
And we'd stayed up so late, like at sunrise, so it was just a beautiful moment for the sun.
It's just fucking glistening off his piss stream as it's going down into the river.
Oh my
Hell
god.
fucking yeah. No, okay. See, but that's almost semi-normal.
No, I don't think so. I don't think when you're like in public, like at a fucking rave.
like this.
Well,
like
how in public? Like, how many people were around at this river? Was it
Okay.
just you and him, or were there
To give
actual
you-
people?
To give you some context, that the rave happened the night before. We were not at the rave. The rave had ended. We were kind of just chilling, drinking after the fact with these group of people,
Okay.
and then
but you were
this-
like
this-
in public.
yes, the whole riverfront is like almost like a park for people to go to.
Like, let's be clear. Eli could have gotten arrested for like
Public indecency.
public indecency.
Yes,
yeah,
completely. But and we had probably about a group of 6, 8 of us maybe, and but it was like I said, it was early morning. It was probably 4 or 5 a.m. Sun was rising.
See, for me, it's
so-
like the only people in that park was probably this group, and it's like if Eli ran off and like was by his lonesome in a sense,
Uh-huh.
like just pissing off into this river. Like for me, that's kind of almost semi-normal. I understand.
he
it's in a
was,
pub-
he did it in front of the group.
So
Oh, okay, that's less semi-normal, but that's very Eli.
I think I
So,
actually.
That's on brand.
I think
It's on brand.
I think I found a story for y'all.
Oh, you got a story?
Oh, yeah?
Please
Do
tell
y'all
us.
want to hear how Ozzy Osbourne was banned from my hometown of San Antonio?
Go ahead.
So
I'm gonna do something real quick.
go ahead. Okay. So it was I don't remember the exact year, right? But Ozzy Osbourne had just got done doing a show in San Antonio.
Yeah.
So what do? You go sightseeing. It's downtown. Like, fuck it. And he went to the Alamo. And for some reason or
He
another,
pissed on the
he
Alamo.
pissed on the Alamo. Ozzy Osbourne pissed on the Alamo, and he got banned from the city for 15 years.
See, every time I hear about the Alamo, I don't think about the actual Alamo. I think of the Alamo Draft House Theater.
Alamo Draft House is so nice.
Dude, I want to fucking go to one.
You haven't been to an Alamo Draft House?
No, I haven't.
What is that?
I haven't been to any
Alamo-
form
so-
of theater that actually serves decent food.
So
Oh,
Alamo,
it's dinner theater?
it's yeah, in a way, it's dinner theater, but it started in Austin. It was actually started by a good friend of Quentin Tarantino's.
Oh, wow.
So it starts up, and it's just a really cool place to go see new movies that come out, and they have really cool programming of like monthly programming of different like old movies. Like this month they're showing The Big Lebowski.
Okay.
You know, so
it's
and
almost
on
like
top of that-
it's almost like the Belmont in a sense where not Belmont's more
Belcourt.
indie, or sorry, yeah,
Belcourt.
Belcourt. It's more of like Belcourt's more indie stuff, whereas like Alamo will do special events for like cult classics.
cult classics, exactly. Yeah. So
Okay.
But
And
they
it's
also
really
show
cool.
they also show new movies as well.
they show a lot of new movies.
Yeah.
The
What makes it different is the fact that
food is
before,
really good.
yeah, literally the chairs have tables and you get a menu and you order and you get food and you get whatever
It's like
beverage, be it a
like-
soda, water, beer, whatever.
Yeah.
Alcoholic milkshake.
Alcoholic milkshakes. Literally, you get it right before the movie starts. Like they literally prep it and they bring it all out at once. So
Yep.
right as the movie starts, you're getting your food and your beverage.
That's amazing. That sounds
It is a
amazing.
wonderful place, and you can also my favorite thing about Alamo Draft House as well, and you can watch all these on, so you don't even need to go to the Alamo Draft House to watch them. Is their series called Birth Movies Death, and it is just the pre-shows that they show before big movies. So when I went and saw Uncut Gems at the Alamo Draft House at 8:45 in the morning, they were showing a bunch of old Adam Sandler like more serious roles, but they were
Yeah.
also showing like interviews with the Safdie brothers, and it was just really cool. Like if you showed up to the Alamo Draft House an hour before the movie,
You got
you got a really cool pre-show, and you can still order food during that time, and they'll bring it to you. And they don't just wait to the beginning of the movie. Like if
yeah,
you show up early and you order food right when you get there,
they'll bring it to you. Yeah.
they'll bring it to you. But if you, they're gonna try the best they can to like get your food to you before the movie starts.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I've always wanted to go because it's like you go to a movie theater and you pay an exorbitant amount for just popcorn and a water. But like in that instance at the draft house or at the Alamo draft house, I would be okay with paying an exorbitant amount.
Oh yeah,
because you're paying for a full meal.
And you're not even paying an exorbitant amount. Is the thing. You're paying restaurant prices.
Yeah, no.
Like you're paying
like for a movie theater. He's saying, I think.
Sure. Well, a movie theater's like food is almost restaurant priced in a sense. It's slightly over,
but it's not. But it's not restaurant quality.
Yeah, but it's not restaurant quality. So that's my big thing is at the Alamo Draft House. I would much rather pay that because at a regular movie theater you pay for nachos and it's the classic like baseball nachos with the fucking circular chips and just squeeze bottle nacho cheese that's been heated up.
Yeah, no. My favorite, another cool thing about the Alamo Draft House is they will come out with like featured cocktails and featured dishes for a movie.
Yeah, for each. Yeah, like they also do like dress ups. Like when It Chapter 2 happened.
Yeah, hell yeah, they will.
They ask for everyone to dress up like clowns. Like not even a character from the movie. They'll just do like
just come like clowns.
Nights.
Yeah. One of my favorite times I went to the Alamo Draft House. My family went to a Moulin Rouge sing along, which was a whole lot of fun.
That's interesting. Quite interesting. Now, we've covered a lot here.
We have covered a lot
of
from
things
SCPs to the Alamo Draft House.
Yeah, and everything in between. Pissing on tents, pissing in the rivers,
pissing on the Alamo.
In between.
Yeah. We talked about the pastas. We talked about the fucking draft houses. We talked about the piss and defecation in between. We've covered a lot of topics today, and I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to join us back on the MindMesh podcast every Monday on your favorite podcast platforms and every Wednesday on the MindMesh YouTube channel. Either or works. But for now, my name's Chayton.
And I'm Fish.
And thank you for our lovely guest, Kenny, for being on the podcast
Thank
once
y'all
again.
for having me on.
Thanks for coming back. I hope we never see you again.
All right, goodbye.